What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. It's Saturday. We're going to be ripping some drafts. We're going to do two big boards, nothing crazy. We're going to jump right into it. Let's pull up Underdog. Let's get going. If you're here early, you get to jump in if you want to draft with me. Let's jump into a big board. We're not even going to talk much. Let's just get rolling. Let's get rolling. Waiting on 8. So if you're in the chat and want to draft, tons of room. Let's take a look at the chat. Couple hellos. Emo Cowboy Tyler, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Huhames in the building. Appreciate you coming in. If you guys missed it last night, we had a really fun stream on the Fantasy Dog Pound channel. It was a good time. It was Pat, myself, PPR Tyler, and Best Ball guy. For almost 2 hours of just a little bit of madness. It was a good time, so go check that out. It's over on Pat's channel. A lot of fun, a lot of good chirps. Definitely worth checking out if you didn't. Antwall, perfect timing, jump in, perfect. Appreciate you. Waiting on 4. So fingers crossed. I got the UFC main event going on my phone right now while we're doing this. Trying to catch this. I thought the event would be over by the time the stream started, but here we are. Got a little bet riding on it. I need Sean Brady to get this win, and then we win a little bit of money. So fingers crossed on that. Waiting on 3. I don't know about you guys, but I'm big UFC fan. Also a big F1 fan. So there's F1 China. The race is in China this weekend. It's at like 1 a.m. tonight for me. So that's going to be a long night, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm excited for that race. It's going to be a good one. Waiting on 3 more. Nothing really for news. Obviously, there's the Jameis news. Jameis to the Giants. Yeah, they're still going to draft somebody. Obviously, it might open the door for my prediction to be more correct with Will Howard getting drafted by the Giants in the 2nd round. Doesn't mean they won't take one in the 3rd overall pick, but if Shedeur, Cam Ward's 1, which he pretty much definitely will be, right? This is interesting. I noticed this the other day. It's all spaced out. I'm not sure if this is that's just the 1st round guys. Weird. Or I wonder if that's new. Either way, yeah, I don't know if that. I don't think that definitely doesn't close the door for them taking a quarterback at the 3rd overall pick, but I think it's less likely. Like, we definitely know that you can. I mean, what you're going to get out of Jameis. So, yeah, mine got all messed up too. I don't know what this is. It's kind of weird. Hopefully it goes away. It looks like it does down here. Looks like it gets back to normal. I'm not sure if that's a like a spike week thing or an underdog thing. Interesting. Super weird. Well, there we go. Looks like we fixed it. So think it's spike week. Must be. Yeah, that worked. Looks like it's back to normal. Well, for now. Now they're spacing out again. Whatever. We'll deal with it. It'll figure itself out. Not a big deal. Who do we got in the draft? I'm in the 7 spot, which is honestly the worst. It's literally the worst spot. We got Steph in the 9 spot. Thanks for coming in. We got Antwall in the 11. Huhames at 3. If you're in the chat and I didn't name you, let me know. Or lurk. Do whatever you want to do. But if you want your team reviewed at the end, just let me know. We'll take a look at Huhames, myself, Steph, and Antwall at the 11 spot. So let maybe this badgeless wonder helps me out and takes some random. Jamie, what's your name again? Jamie, MLB Syndicate? Is that it, I think? Jamie Robbins, he's in. I think it's MLB Syndicate. Let me know. I could be wrong on that. I mean, I guess it's Puka, but like, let's just get a little more neighbors, live a little bit. Honestly, the Winston The Winston pickup is good for Neighbors. So MLB Syndicate at the 12 spot. It is good for Neighbors. So let's just bring him in, get our shares up a little bit, and just see what happens. Like, again, they're definitely going to draft somebody, but honestly, I think that Jameis is going to be a better option than any rookie that they can draft, even at the 3, unless Cam Ward falls to 3 for some reason, which I exceptionally highly doubt. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Winston to Neighbors for a lot of the year, at least until, near the end of the season. I personally wouldn't really recommend doing a lot of like Neighbors with Winston. I suppose you could if you really needed to. I'm not really taking that because chances are pretty high that Winston's going to be benched towards the end of the year. And if it's week 17 where it matters, then that's really going to kill you. So I'm not really taking any Neighbors with Winston. I will definitely bump Neighbors up. You could argue that, yeah, that's where he should go now, is the 7 spot. You could definitely make that argument, and I wouldn't argue with you. I just took him at 7, so there you go. But I wouldn't personally recommend taking a lot of Winston with him. But that's just me. Jameis is also easy to move off of midseason. Let the rookie try 100%. That's why, that's literally exactly why I'm not going to be drafting too much of any Winston. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. I think it's only a matter of time before they let the rookie get a shot, whoever that might be. So we got Malik Neighbors. Derrick Henry's there at 18. That's pretty good value. Christian McCaffrey's there. Let's just take Derrick Henry. Too hard not to, if I'm being honest. It really brings up the floor of your running back room when you start with Derrick Henry. Just opens doors for later in the draft. Yeah, I mean, I have them paired up a fair amount, so I don't particularly love that, but whatever. Let's make it happen. By the way, it's Saturday. Got a little leftover Sam Adams from the Dog Pound stream last night. So, ooh, that was clean. That was real clean. Let's get that rolling. If you got a beverage, pop it. If not, do your thing. All right. McCaffrey's fallen. He seems to be consistently falling, which is fine. This is tough. This is a tough start for me. Like Genty and then Bowers. Like, it's going to be difficult to get out of that, I think. I really like the wide receiver running back start. 1-1. I really like that start. It's just you're not going to fall behind either way, especially when it's like Derrick Henry with pretty much any of these back end wide receivers. Right? You're not going to fall behind at wide receiver. You're not going to fall behind at running back. So, yeah. I kind of like that start. I don't mind going wide receiver either, for sure. But, Antwall here gets Nico to fall to him, and then Devon Achane. That feels really nice. Makes it a lot easier to start that way. Amon-Ra Drake London is perfectly fine. That shouldn't be too unique, but that's a nice start at the 12 spot. You might get unique later on in the draft if you're getting that at the turn. So that feels really nice. That's okay to go, wide receiver, tight end here, as long as you're not taking, I don't know, quarterback, I suppose, would be make it a little bit difficult. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor feels really nice. That's a really easy start. Steph goes Puka, AJ Brown. I don't mind that. Huhames, Barkley, Tyreek. That feels really nice. Yeah. Sean Brady is kind of wrecking Rocky Edwards right now, so that's feeling nice. People were saying just using Winston as an advanced piece since they can pay off his 20th round. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like, it's fine. It's just, I don't know. I think there's obviously better options regardless. So if you want to do that, it's just like, I want more. The reason for taking 3 quarterbacks, and if Jameis Winston's part of your build, you have 3 quarterbacks guaranteed, right? So if Jameis Winston if you're drafting 3 quarterbacks, you want them to have a shot to show up for you in the playoffs, right? Where it really matters, weeks 15, 16, 17, right? So I don't think it makes a lot of sense to take Jameis regardless, since we all know that he's probably going to get benched at some point. So we're going to have to make do while he's out. I mean, Brees Hall is just the easiest click here. I do need to match him up with these players, especially neighbors. A little bit of falling value. Yeah, let's just bring in Brees Hall here. I think he's a great click regardless. So let's do that. Let's do that. So I don't know. That's just where I'm at with Winston. I just don't think it'll ever make sense. I really don't. I think it's hard to justify. I like any quarterback theoretically. Like if you're taking 3 quarterbacks, it's an advanced rate type of a play, right? So I don't know. I just want them available for me to break into my lineup, hopefully when it matters, when you need them. That's just kind of where I'm at. So I don't think it makes a lot of sense to drop Jameis regardless. That's just where I'm at. So if you're drafting like weekly winners or battle royales, stuff like that, yeah, Jameis is going to make some sense, right? Because he's going to have some serious blow up games where he's kind of just the nuts. You know, you stack him with like Neighbors and Slayton, that sort of thing, and kind of take it from there. I don't mind that, but in best ball, I think it's kind of a tough sell. I think it's a really tough sell, if I'm being honest. But again, that's just my opinion. So we'll see. Antwell's got a nice start there. 4 straight wide receivers for Jamie in the 12 spot. Not a bad way to go about it when you're in the 12 spot, unless you want to like bring somebody up, which, you know, is kind of hit or miss. Lamar's falling into our lap a little bit. Not sure I want to go down that road, if I'm being honest. Just because I, have Henry. I have a lot of that because for some reason Lamar falls, which is kind of madness to me. So, man, it's interesting that my exposures are kind of the same. It's Lamar or Jaden Daniels here, kind of regardless. I mean, I might just take Lamar, pair him up with Henry. It's kind of weird. I don't love it, but it's the offense that you're banking on. It doesn't really matter. They're not going to play off each other too much. Let's just take Lamar. That's too much value to pass up on. I'd like to get a lot more. There could be that sophomore kind of slump sort of situation with Jaden Daniels. You never know. I'm not drafting like there's going to be one. I'm not worried about Jaden Daniels. I'm really not. But, if it's between the two, I think Lamar obviously deserves to be drafted higher than Jaden Daniels. That's for sure. So, Candyman, what's happening? Welcome in. Big board going to be open till the draft, you think? Probably. We're at what, like 60% or something like that? Let's take a quick peek. I don't think, 62%. Like 80,000 entries. Probably. It'll be close. It'll be within like 4 days. So like, the 20th, April 20th, something like that. Maybe a day or two before it might fill, but yeah, it'll be open late. I think they are probably planning on at least like rookies and sophomores is obviously going to show up soon. And then hopefully there's another like war room. That would be really nice. Those like max entry, 5 max, 4 max, that sort of a thing, like small total entries. I think there's only 75 entries, 75 drafts, whatever, or entries, I guess is what it is in the war room. So I think they should do that and then get the rookies and sophomores going. There's got to be something, but besides rookies and sophomores. Rookies and sophomores is coming regardless. So I think they want to keep pushing it because it fills in like a day. So they're not concerned about getting it out so it fills in time. That's not the concern whatsoever for Underdog. It's just getting the rest of these tournaments filled and kind of rolling is what it feels like to me. Is that the T. Higgins drafter? It is. Das Bruku, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. The banner at the bottom hasn't changed this week. First time it hasn't changed in a while. We're still at 475 subs. If you're new to the channel, haven't hit that sub button for whatever reason, you like the content, smack the sub button and get us closer to the goal. What do we want to do here? If I took Jaden Daniels, I would be taking Debo. Let's just take Waddle because I need to catch up a little bit at wide receiver, sorry. And he pairs up with, AFC Baltimore, obviously with the Jets, he pairs up nicely. This is really annoying, this whole thing they got going on. Sounds like it's happening to a few people. It's got to be a spike week issue, not an underdog issue, obviously. So yeah, we'll see. These tournaments only been up a month. No. They opened up, man. When did it open? A couple months ago. Like just after I don't even think the Super Bowl is over yet. I think it was the bye week or the bye week between Super Bowl day. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it was right around there. Right around the Super Bowl or just before the Super Bowl, that sort of thing. So definitely about 2 months. Yeah, that's about 2 months now, roughly. All right, what are we doing here? I'd like to catch up a little more at wide receiver, obviously. I don't mind taking running back in this situation either. I don't love this wide receiver range, and I really do like the running back range here. Laporte, I don't think makes a lot of sense. Let's just bring in Quinshawn. I'd like to get over 20% Quinshawn Judkins. And then I can stop at 5 running backs, almost for sure. But we'll see how that works out. You think Waddle will score Metcalf consistently if Rodgers is in Pitt? Yeah, I do. I think the floor is higher for Waddle, the ceiling's higher for Metcalf if Rodgers is there. I get the feeling like they're millions and millions of dollars apart on the contract negotiations. I think that's what the big holdup is I think Rodgers wants like 40 mil a season, something like that. Not to say he doesn't deserve it, just saying that's probably what he's looking for. And the Steelers are probably trying to be discount, hounds when it comes to quarterback again, right? They had the cheapest quarterback room in the league last year, and I think they want to be cheap again. That's what I think the holdup is there's a major discrepancy as far as dollars are concerned with Rodgers in Pittsburgh. So we'll see. Maybe they're playing a little chicken with each other. But yeah, if Rodgers is in Pittsburgh, I think the higher floor is for Waddle, more consistent. And then, the higher ceilings, obviously, with Metcalf, with, deep touchdowns and the like. That's my take on it. Super Bowl day before the Super Bowl. Yeah, it was right around within a couple of days of the Super Bowl is when the contest launched. Yeah, right. I think it was the bye week between. I think it was the week between the conference championships and the Super Bowl, I think is what it was. But I could be wrong on that. But about 2 months, regardless, is how long it's been open for. Nice. I just won my bet. That feels really good. Sean Brady just beat Leon Edwards. Now I can turn my phone off. That's awesome. That is awesome. What a win. Nice win. Good little bet. Couple $100 for you, for the kid. Kevin Taylor, what's happening, man? 75 big board till now. I feel like I'm drafting the same team over and over again. That's why you got to get different. You got to purposefully get different. And also, I don't know if you have an overlay of some kind. Best Ball overlay is a great one. Spike Week is a great one. I use Spike Week. Best Ball overlay is really good. But that's why you have something like this, so you're not drafting the same team over and over and over again. And then don't be afraid to scroll down, pull guys up, and then that'll create some falling value as well. So that's kind of the way I try to get unique. Scroll down, take value almost whenever it's there. Like if there's ever some falling ADP value, I try to take it. I might have to take Luther Burden here, which I don't particularly want to do. I think I have to take Luther Burden. 79, right around ADP. Let's get some shares, I guess. Or do I take another running back and just call myself good? I'm going to take Pollard. I just believe too much in Pollard over Burden, and there's lots of value. I could stop at 4 maybe, actually. We'll see. I might stop at 4 running backs, but the door's wide open when you have Lamar. That feels really nice to push, obviously, my QB2. But let's get back to this. I feel like I'm drafting the same team. So, yeah, push guys up, push guys down, scroll up, try to focus on getting stacks regardless of what it means. By that, I mean, like, if you have to, let's say you want to focus on getting a Chicago stack and you draft DJ Moore wherever you draft him, then pull up Roma Dunze like this guy kind of did. Or let's say, you draft Jamar Chase, then go DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. I guess, yeah, you could do that. It's a little much, but I don't know. Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison is an okay pull up at the number 1 spot, right? Something like that. You could even do Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels at 24, 25, stuff like that, like where you're purposely getting unique. And then let's say you pull up Debo to 47, whatever it is, something along those lines. Just make sure that you get that stack that you're after. And it doesn't, regardless of what the price tag is. That's kind of another way that you can get a little bit unique and just not be drafting the same team over and over. But again, the overlays are exceptionally helpful. So it tells me, how much percent I have of each player. So Caleb Johnson with all of my players, Malik Neighbors, Derrick Henry, right? Breece Hall, tells me what percentage I have with each of those pairings. So it's really nice when you're drafting in volume, especially that would have been a Josh Downs click 100%. It's probably Cooper Kupp. Unless I want to go with my QB2, which I don't really want to yet. Let's go with Cooper Kupp. 7% is okay, but let's get a little more, kind of have to. But that's my 2 cents. And the overlays, like I said, they really, really help. They really help. Rodgers is going to lock on a target, and that's the play. Yeah, I mean, that's why, it makes sense for Rodgers to go to Pittsburgh. He's very much just like, you stand there, Metcalf, you stand there, George Pickens, do your route, whichever one single covered, that's what I'm throwing to. That's what I think. That's what I think Aaron Rodgers likes to do. That's what I think he's going to do. He doesn't like a lot of movement, which is crazy because in today's NFL, if you have, movement in the backfield or anywhere on offense, like look at the Rams. I think they lead the league in pre-snap movement, or Miami, one of those two. So they're always in movement, right? And creating mismatches, creating confusion, right? There's no confusion with an Aaron Rodgers led offense. It's just like that guy's there, they run a route. Hopefully, either you double team or you don't, whatever. But Rodgers is just going to throw to the guy who has single coverage. But probably not like Huham says. It's like, oh, that that route is it's a go route, whatever. It's a comeback, it's a back shoulder, it's whatever, right? I'm going to throw there, and that's that. He's just going to throw the ball. Doesn't really matter. He's going to throw it. So I think that's why it makes sense for him to go to Pittsburgh, because the way they run the offense and the way he likes offenses run, I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with it or like how they run their offense, but yeah, that's kind of just what it is. So we'll see. I think Etienne and Waddle are going to have a bounce back season. I'm not into Travis Etienne whatsoever. I have 0% Etienne. 1% must have drafted them somewhere in a little board. Odd. So 0% in this tournament, 1% overall. So I must have clicked them one time. Might have been an auto pick or something. I don't know, because I wouldn't click them voluntarily, realistically. But I'm not a big ETN guy at all. At all, at all. I do like Waddle for a bounce back, though. I absolutely do. I don't think it's completely. I don't think it's completely off the table that Tyreek Hill gets traded. I don't think it's entirely likely either, but I don't think it's completely off the table. And wow, Jordan Mason is a 9th round pick now. Hey, that's a little wealthy for me. That's a little bit wealthy for me. I am not going to be drafting Jordan Mason as a 9th round pick. Where pick 100? Where does Aaron Jones go? 84. So how are we justifying that? That's an interesting one. I don't know how to justify that pick, but all right. I guess that's like the second time in I think earlier today I saw that on PPR Tyler's stream, someone drafted Mason in the 9th round. So I guess that's just where he's going now. That's kind of crazy to me. That's really crazy to me. Let's go Christian Kirk. I hardly have any of them, and I definitely want more. I don't think I need to force Bateman in this at all. Really, I'm banking on the rushing offense of Baltimore. So I need to fill out my wide receiver room. That's for sure. Let's just go that route. Yeah, I'm not a big ETN guy personally. Love that Caleb is falling. Yeah. Pick up your shares now. Now's the time. Now is the time. Steph got him at 88. That feels nice. That feels nice. 73. Wow, 15 picks past ADP. Yeah, that's a pretty easy click there. That's where I want to get my shares is when he's falling. Putt Daddy, what's up? Not drafting the big board, may jump in for a snipe when you do your 12-hour stream. Appreciate it. At least if you're coming in. Hopefully you don't snipe me too bad. Burrow takes his game after Rodgers, if you think about it. Oh, I do not agree with that at all. At all. I don't know, actually. Maybe I'd have to watch old. I'd have to watch young Aaron Rodgers. That take makes my heart hurt. I'm not so sure I disagree. That's why it hurts. I don't like that take, Antwall. I don't like that. I don't know if I don't know how I feel about that one. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it. Let's just move on. I have 55% ETN. I mean, don't take my word for it. Like, if you disagree, disagree. Do your own thing. So if it works out, it works out. I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to click ETN. I'll tell you that much. I'm low on ETN. Took a few, and he is super cheap. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I don't mind Tank. I'm not 30% high on Tank. I don't mind him. I think I'm at like 7 or 8%. My concern is that I think they definitely are going to draft a running back. I really think they do. But I think it's going to be more of an ETN killer than it would be a Tank Bigsby killer. So I'm a little higher on Tank, especially at cost, than I am on Travis Etienne personally. But again, just don't take my word for it. If you disagree, go ahead and disagree. Feel free. Absolutely. It doesn't mean, certainly not right every time. That's for sure. One of the other pops off. I think is that what we're talking about? What are we doing here? Would have taken Bateman if he fell to me, but definitely not something I got to force in there. Mims can make some sense. Wouldn't mind taking a tight end here, and I'm going to take Evan Ingram. I think he should be basically right here. I'm taking him over Njoku every time. That's an easy click for me. So whoever the Bo Nix drafter is, I'm sorry. Hames, my bad. But I'm taking a lot of Evan Ingram right now. I'm just trying to catch up on my shares is what it is. So my apologies, bro. I've been working on getting Tank up. Yeah. I think he's worth like just at field, like 8%. I think he's worth getting that. But we'll see. Justin Fields pulled up to the 10th. That's where he goes now. It is what it is. Chad Candles, how you doing, man? It's so hard to take any of the Jags backs. They were so bad. Yeah, I think there's a little more juice with Tank. I really do. Third year now. Obviously it's a coaching change, but I think it's for the best. I think Tank should, in theory, have more success in Liam Cohen's offense than Etienne. But I mean, I could be wrong on that, I suppose. But that's just my take, and I'm kind of sticking to that. What happened, Steph? What happened? What'd I miss? What'd I miss? Believe in Liam and Ben Johnson. Leadership matters. Yeah, I do. I believe in Liam and Ben Johnson. I'm super high on the Bears this year. Super high. I bet the Bears to win the division already. I bet 250 Canadian currency dollars. Ask PPR Tyler how much that is in American dollars. On the Bears winning the division. I also bet the Rams and the Bills and I can't remember the other team I bet on to win the division. Bears, Bills, Bucks. Bears, Bills, Bucks, Rams. I bet on all them, but basically it's the Bears, I think, is the biggest concern. Purdy, I thought I could push around the corner. Oh, he sniped you. Oh, yeah. Second quarterback, too. Josh Allen, Jared Goff. I don't blame you for trying. That's for sure. I don't blame you for trying. Wow, Coleman's still there. He might have been my click last with the last pick there. Let's do that because it feels good to catch up at wide receiver. I feel pretty good about it. Then I have Miami, Jets, and Buffalo. And then Buffalo with Baltimore feels good. You got the Texans there as well. The Broncos are there. So a lot of AFC, Tennessee, a lot of AFC potential there. Let's bring in Coleman. Feels good to catch up at wide receiver. At least I feel like I have. Pretty close anyways. Did Aaron Rodgers ever buy his offensive line samurai swords? I don't know. I don't know. Prime Rodgers. Yeah, I mean, I don't. You're pulling on my heartstrings, Antwall. I don't know. I don't like that take at all. Because I don't necessarily disagree with it, and it hurts me to say that. If I'm being honest, I don't like that take because I can't say it's super wrong. So yeah, Jags have too many needs to draft an RB. Yeah, you could be right. You could be wrong. You could have said that about the Bucks too, right? You could say that about a lot of teams. So, and they like did Seattle need another running back when they drafted Kenny Walker in the second round? Probably not. It depends on how they look at Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. If they think that one of those two are not for them, they could absolutely draft a running back. And what we know is it's a very good running back class. We know that. Well, however you feel about it, I don't particularly care how anybody feels about it. It is a very good running back class. We know that for a fact. So if they feel like neither of those guys or one of those guys are not for them, then I definitely think that running back is on the table for them. Let's bring in Likely, and that's probably all I'm going to need with Baltimore here. Again, we're banking on the running game more than anything. And then just one pass catcher, especially tight end, feels good. Obviously, like I'd rather this was Andrews, but he went one pick after us, I think, right here. Probably should have taken Andrews there at 90 right here instead of Cooper Kupp. And I needed to catch up at wide receiver, and I knew I could bring in Likely if I really wanted to, and I did. So that worked out. I did want to. So there we go. We got that worked out. Makes some sense. Steph, what's your AJ Brown exposure? Yeah, sorry, man. Had to snipe you. Had to snipe you. Mahomes at 94 should be his normal ADP. Huhame's got him at 94. Wow. With Rashee Rice. Where's the worthy drafter? Took Justin Herbert at 113. Josh Downs. Yeah. I mean, probably. I mean, yeah, I won't disagree with that take though. 94 for Patrick Mahomes puts him in the range. There is a huge teardrop like after Joe Burrow. That's obviously a massive teardrop, obviously. And then, with Baker in there, I don't mind that take that it's Baker over Patrick Mahomes. You could certainly make an argument Caleb Williams over Patrick Mahomes, which is how it went here. Jared Goff, that's close, but I don't disagree with that. I think that's probably pretty accurate that that's kind of where his ADP should be. But it's tough to take him regardless. Like, obviously, you have to pair him with somebody. You obviously have him paired up with Rashee Rice. That's perfect. You can bring in a couple late tight ends potentially if you want to or need to. Hollywood Brown is there. Noah Gray at the end of the draft. There's lots of options that you can kind of backstack Patrick Mahomes. But, yeah, you definitely want to have him stacked up. That's for sure. Could finish out the running back room, which is probably the way we go. There's really no wide receivers that I feel like you really need here. Let's bring in Samson. I need a little more. 3%. I need a little more Samson. 18% Trey Benson. My bags are packed. Jerome Ford bags are packed. With a room like this, I can bring in Dylan Sampson and it works. And then I'm still done at 5. So that feels good. I can stop probably still at 2 quarterbacks and 5 running backs. Gives me essentially, the way I look at it, gives me 2 free picks that are probably going to go to wide receiver. I'm going to do 3 tight ends, which is fine with what I have so far. So I can add a ton of value at the end of the draft at wide receiver is the way I'm looking at it. Jamie Robbins, MLB Syndicate, got sniped. He's got Devontae there. Did you get sniped or did the Puka drafter just get him? Oh, no, he didn't. Anthony Richardson and Stafford, he just ran out of, I mean, if I were this guy, I would rather go, he has Jalen Hurts. That's great. That's wonderful. You probably only need 2 depending on where you draft. But if you're bringing in Anthony Richardson, just wait and get Daniel Jones. That's kind of what I like to do with the Indy quarterback situation. If you have an elite quarterback like Hurts, Allen, Lamar, whatever, bring in both Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. That's something I like to do, where you're just guaranteeing yourself that quarterback room essentially in Indianapolis, which is not a bad room. Like, it's not with the wide receivers, and chances are pretty high they draft a tight end probably in the first round, if not high. And then there's just a lot of weapons is what I'm getting at in the Indianapolis room. So that's what I like to do. I don't think Stafford makes any sense for him here. So you did get sniped, and that's pretty gross. It feels definitely pretty nasty. Trevor Lawrence to pair up with Brian Thomas. I don't mind that. I'm going to bring in Darnold as my QB2, and I'm going to stop there. That's where I'll be done. Pair him up with Cooper Kupp. Let's do that. And I can be done. I can be done there at 2 QBs. I feel okay with Lamar and Sam Darnold. When you got elite QB, you should be all right. Steph was going to snipe you anyways, so there you go. You could draft Kirk Cousins, Shedeur, and Kenny Pickett and guarantee the Browns guy. Yeah, I suppose. I suppose you could. I don't know about Like the only way Kirk Cousins goes to the Browns is if he gets cut by the Falcons, which is exceptionally unlikely now that they have that guaranteed money invested in him. I don't think the Browns would be able to sign him to a contract that would work for him. Maybe, but I don't know if he's going to look at the Browns roster and be like, yeah, that's where I need to go. You know, I think the Giants could still be on the table for a guy like Kirk Cousins, even if he does get cut. Then he could go to a team like the Giants, and then Jameis is just there. That's fine. He's the backup. He's super cheap. So like there's a lot of doors that are still open for Kirk Cousins. Tennessee is definitely a door that's open. Obviously, Pittsburgh is still open. There's lots of places that he could still go, whether he's cut, traded, whatever. I mean, I highly doubt he gets cut now with that money, going in his pocket. Mind you, like they would have kicked it down the line anyways. So really, it doesn't really change much if I'm being honest. But I think a trade is more likely. Therefore, the Browns can't do that. They can't take on that contract. So I don't think the Browns are on the table for Kirk Cousins. I really don't. I think the Giants could be. I think the Titans could be. So we'll see. But that's kind of where I'm at with the Browns situation and with the Kirk Cousins situation. I feel like guaranteeing a dead roster spot is a tough sell when you're trying to win a massive final. Is that are we talking about Jameis? Who are we talking about? Shedeur? Kenny Pickett? Who are you talking about, Chad? Let's take a look at the board. I'm done at quarterback. I'm done at running back, which feels really good. So wide receiver, tight end. Adam Thielen. Do I want to go down that road? Not really. Let's bring in Jalen Noel. He's just a dude, and I want a little bit more. I want to be over 20% Jalen Noel. So let's do that. I don't have to do really anything specific right now, except for fill out my wide receiver and tight end room. Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. I just don't think they're gonna have the money to give to Kirk Cousins. Again, like they just can't take on that contract. They can't. They don't have the room. They don't have the ability to take on the contract. And I think the biggest or the most likely scenario for Kirk Cousins leaving Atlanta is going to be in a trade. Like I said, so I don't know. A-Rich, Daniel Jones. I think that's what you're talking about in relation to drafting Daniels and A-Rich. Daniel Jones, you mean, and A-Rich? If you have Hurts and you're basically saying that's who you need. So taking 2 spots, we're getting 0+ chance Hurts is hitting your lineup. I mean, but then you're putting all your eggs in the Hurts basket. So just draft Hurts then. Draft one quarterback. Draft Hurts. That's it. If that like by this logic, you could get 2 zeros week 17. Drafting Daniels and A-Rich. Are you saying Daniel Jones or like Jaden Daniels here? If you have Hurts, you're basically saying that's who you need. So taking 2 spots, one guaranteed 0+ chance Hurts is hitting your lineup. I'm not exactly sure what you're getting at, Chad. Alec Pierce, I think, makes a lot of sense for this team. Let's do Alec Pierce with this squad. I think he makes a lot of sense with this lineup. Daniel Jones. Okay, so Daniel Jones and A-Rich. Yeah, then just draft A-Rich. Or sorry, just draft Hurts then. Just draft one quarterback. I personally have a hard time feeling okay with, depending on who they are, but if it's like, even if we're saying Justin Fields and Jordan Love, Justin Fields and Dak Prescott, Justin Fields and Justin Herbert, Justin Fields, Drake May, Bo Nix, any of those 2 guys even. and we're stopping at 2. That makes it a little nerve-wracking, if you ask me, as far as stopping at 2 quarterbacks. You can get away with it. Sure. Could it bite you in the ass? Absolutely. So I don't know. I find it difficult to take just 2 quarterbacks kind of regardless, unless it's one of the top, 5, these top 5 quarterbacks, right? Allen, Jaden Daniels, Lamar, Burrow, Hurts. Take one of those 5, and then one of these middle round guys all the way down to even Tua, like Sam Darnold, like I'm doing here. You could probably get away with it. Geno, maybe, Derek Carr. If you have Josh Allen, take Derek Carr, sure. But if it's like, I don't think you can do Jalen Hurts and just Anthony Richardson, even when Daniel Jones wasn't there. I think you're still like, I need a third quarterback. Every time you're saying that, I think, at least I was when that was the case. So what in this example, why take a naked Matthew Stafford? I guess you could bring it back with like Tyler Higbee and Jordan Whittington, but is that something you really want to do? If you're going to take a naked quarterback, like I'd rather take like a Geno. You could backstack Darnold. You can backstack. You could do Cam Ward, Bryce Young, right? Like you can do some other things that would make more sense for me than especially pulling up, a naked Stafford. Yeah. 9 picks, pull up negative value, whatever you want to call it. I personally don't think that makes a crazy amount of sense, but I mean, I could be in the minority there. Let's take Juwan Johnson. Finish up our tight end room. I think he got more money than a lot of people expected, including me. So let's wrap up our tight end room. I think that works. And then we probably finish it out with wide receivers. 3 wide receivers to wrap up the squad. Finish at 10. 2-5-10-3. I like the 2-5-10-3 build. I really do. If I can get away with it. It's tough to get away with. I think it's tough to get away with the build like this. Like I said, you have to get ahead of it with like a Lamar and a Derrick Henry, something like that, or Derrick Henry and Josh Allen, something like that, where you can push your quarterback to, you can push your running backs, or you can kind of stack it up like we did here with running back and then stop at 4 or 5 running backs and then just plow, piss yellow for the end of the draft. That's something I like to do. I said a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks ago, a day feels like a week these days. I said a couple days ago, last stream, I think, like that's something I'm going to try to really focus on is getting builds like this with strong running back rooms where I can stop, and I do stop at 5, and then it just frees me up to do things like this. And I think this is a perfectly capable wide receiver room, especially if I'm adding in 3 more. Right? Neighbors, Waddle, hopefully get me by most weeks. And then I need a couple of these guys to pop in here and there. I think it's a fine strategy. I really do. As long as your tight end room plays off each other, which it should regardless. And there's some correlation, which I do have. I'm happy with builds like this. And I'm definitely going to be doing it a little bit more as we wrap up the draft cycle. Juwan catches passes, so New England isn't allowed to sign him according to the new CBA. Yeah, that is written in the new CBA. That's fact check true. That's written in the CBA. You can't, if you're a good football player, you can't go to New England. If you're good at catching passes, you can't sign there. Section 87.9B in the new CBA. We're going to wrap this up with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Bring him in for my Seattle stack. If they're not throwing the ball over the middle to Cooper Kupp, they're throwing it deep to Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the end zone. That's what's happening in this instance with this team. If you're just popping in, new to the channel, you appreciate the content, you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button. We're 25 away from a 12-hour live stream. Hasn't moved since the last stream. That's depressing. Tell your friends, share it with your league mates, get us there. And we'll be ripping a 12-hour live stream. All the friends and family guests coming in. Like my team. Thanks, Meg. Appreciate it. I actually like this team too. It's different. Let's read it out. Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, Quinshon Judkins, Tony Pollard, Dylan Sampson, Malik Neighbors, Jalen Waddle, Cooper Kupp, Christian Kirk, Keon Coleman, Jalen Knoll, Alec Pierce, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Evan Ingram, Isaiah Likely, and Juwan Johnson. Single stacked Lamar, but I have obviously Derrick Henry, and then double stack Sam Darnold with MVS and Cooper Kupp. I like it actually quite a bit. I really don't mind this team. It's type of build. I mean, who was that saying it earlier? Building the same team over and over, right? These are the types of things that I like to do. And that's a way you can get unique as well, is change up your structure, your roster construction. Change up your roster construction. Force in 4 straight running backs or something. Just force it in there. Do it. If you're building 150 lineups, do some different shit. Do different things on purpose. Force it in. It might be uncomfortable, but do it. I'm telling you. If you have 150 drafts and you do even 10 just aggressive running back where you're doing 4 straight running backs to start a team or whatever, I say force it in. It's going to feel uncomfortable. Just make it happen. Do some where you're drafting 7 straight wide receivers. I do that all the time too. I'm certainly not a 0 RB bro at all, but I force in those 6, 7 straight wide receiver, builds. So I'm different, and I know I'm different. So different from myself, not different from anybody else, but different from myself. I'm going to keep taking Parker Washington at the end of drafts. I think you don't have to squint too hard to see Parker Washington in the Chris Godwin role. I don't think. That's kind of the way I'm looking at Parker Washington. And if I'm getting him in the 19th, 20th round, I'm going to click him every single time. So that's what I've been doing. I'm almost at 20% Parker Washington. I'm going to keep clicking him if he's still available where he's at. I don't think it takes too much to squint your eyes a little bit and see the Chris Godwin role with Parker Washington. I could be wrong on that, but it's a 19th round pick. So yeah, I think it's a fun squad. I dig my team. It's a bit different for me. Could use a few panic stacks. Disbanded Brotherhood initiating the AI sequence. I like it. Appreciate you. We'll take a look at your squad in a couple minutes. We're going to rip one more draft. We're going to do 2 drafts today. So we'll rip one more after this. Should be fun. We'll take a look at a few squads we got in the chat before we do. But we got Huhames 1, 2, myself, whatever. Steph 3, 4, 5 with Antwall and Jamie. A couple teams to take a look at. And we'll see what everybody thinks. Do I want to force in a rookie? My Tez shares are falling. I still want to be between 15 to 20%, regardless of what anyone says of Tez Johnson. I'm down to 20%. The guy I still really like clicking down here is Kyle Williams. Not sure where he is, but I still am about 20% Kyle Williams. Do I want to go Kyle Williams or do I want to bring in Kevontae Turpin? I should have went with Kyle. Oh my goodness, he went. Got Turpin. Wow. Who took Kyle Williams? Nice click. Nice click, whoever took Kyle Williams. Jamie, well done. You've been paying attention to the show, haven't you? I'm at, I think, 20% Kyle Williams. 20, exactly, yeah. 20% Kyle Williams. I think that feels good. I kind of panic-picked Kevontae Turpin, but that's okay. I think it's a good click. I really do. I want to be at about 10%, but I'm kind of there, so I definitely need to, I don't know, tap the brakes a little bit. Someone take Kareem Hunt so I don't click him. I'm not going to be clicking him. I'll tell you that. I like Curtis Samuel, Keaton Mitchell, Randall rookie, TE Palmer, Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer's definitely gone. I'm not sure the Palmer. Trey? No. It's probably Josh Palmer, but he's definitely gone by now. I'm personally not clicking Curtis Samuel anymore since Josh Palmer came to the Buffalo Bills. I do have a couple shares of Curtis Samuel. I was getting him early. He is going to be on this team. So it's a perfectly fine click because he will be on the Buffalo Bills. Curtis Samuel, 100%. So it's an okay click. I'm just not doing it anymore. Keaton Mitchell, I'm out on personally. I'd rather take shots on some rookies or some other established veterans that I think could have a bigger role than someone like Keaton Mitchell. That's just my take on it. I know some people like him. I'm not clicking Keaton Mitchell personally. And then, random rookies are always nice at the end of drafts. Naked QB snipes is really not fun. That's why I like backstacking with, an option like Sam Darnold. And then with how I took Lamar Jackson, that's really, you can't snipe me. So go ahead and take Bateman. Go ahead and take Andrews. I don't care. I can figure it out. And then likely kind of fell right at ADP, which he should be even falling. He should be falling further down in his ADP, but I wasn't going to push him, obviously. A couple picks behind ADP, I'll take that. So that's kind of a reason why I like getting some of these quarterbacks that you can, or just like leaving yourselves like the door open, like Chris Olave, right, with Derek Carr, Jalen Waddle with Tua, Cooper Kupp, right, even Christian Kirk with Stroud. Like the door's wide open for your wide receiver too. So that's something I kind of like to do so you don't get sniped, but it is what it is. You can't avoid it sometimes. What's the Turpin thesis? Well, he got 18 million. He's getting 6 million a season. That's not just special teams money. That's not just special teams money. Resigns for 3 years, highest paid special teams player in NFL history. That's not special teams money. That's why he got that money. It's not just to play special teams. 52 targets, 31 catches, 412 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran the ball 16 times. So he gets touches. If you look at his snap share at the end of last season, the last 3 games, he was 50% plus. That was with Brandon Cooks on the team as well. So with Brandon Cooks obviously not with the Dallas Cowboys anymore, I think Turpin slides right into that role. And even if and when they draft a wide receiver, because I absolutely think the Cowboys draft a rookie wide receiver this year, even if and when they do, I don't think that affects Kevontae Turpin's role. So if you were drafting Jalen Nailor, if you ever drafted Jalen Nailor, you should draft Kevontae Turpin, especially if you're pairing him up with Dak Prescott, right? That's another one that you can backstack. You draft a naked Dak Prescott, then you bring in Jake Ferguson, bring in Kevontae Turpin at the end of the draft, and then there you go. So spike week wise, they had the same spike week. Jalen Nailor and Kevontae Turpin, it was like 0.4, 0.5, half a point difference between the 2 spike weeks. And that's all you're really looking for. Also, Kevontae Turpin returned 2 kicks for touchdowns last year, which gives you another 6 points. So let's say he catches two catches, 43 yards and a touchdown, right? And he returns a ball for a touchdown. That's a really nice spike week for you. So I'm clicking Turpin for sure. I think he's going to have a much bigger role. And the Cowboys are the type of franchise, they're much like my Bengals. They're the type of franchise where they reward their own. They really, really do. If you play well for the team and you're a baller and they like you, they will give you an opportunity every single time. So Kevontae Turpin, they paid him. That's my thesis. I'm going to be about 10%, 10 to 12% Kevontae Turpin, and it shouldn't hurt me regardless as a 20th round pick. That's on the Kyle Williams, I'd imagine. 11%. Need to bump those rookie numbers up, man. No, I'm just kidding. That's more than enough on a guy that barely gets drafted. I always have other plans, but when on the board, people just do dumb things. Yeah, it hurts. There's always a way you can, like you said, like you can always have a backup plan. You can always do other things. You can always, backstack, whatever. There's always a yang to the yin and zig to the zag, but like when someone takes Ingram, yeah, my bad, Who Ames. I knew that was gonna hurt your feelings, but I had to do it. It's one of my favorite things to do with tight end when I'm always drafting at least 3, unless I get 2 very high, McBride and Laporta or something like that. That's the only time I'm stopping at 2 tight ends. And I think Ingram is the perfect, starting point at tight end. And I'm taking him straight up over David Njoku every single time. So my apologies, sir. Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, Quinshon Judkins, Tony Pollard, Dylan Sampson, Malik Neighbors, Jalen Waddle, Cooper Kupp, Christian Kirk, Keon Coleman, Jalen Noel, Alec Pierce, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Parker Washington, Kevontae Turpin, Evan Ingram, Isaiah Likely, and Juwan Johnson. I think that'll play. I really think that will work. So we'll see how it happens for us. Let's take a look at Who Ames, who got unfortunately sniped. Even though you got a falling next to you anyways, man. You can't just get all the value. Come on. And a super falling Patrick Mahomes. So Patrick Mahomes, Bo Nix, and Tua. Very strong room. You could potentially stop at Mahomes and Nix with your floor guy and then your ceiling guy, but I don't mind. You got a little bit more value on Tua, so I assume you have some stack options as well. But I don't mind this regardless. Stopping at 2 or bringing in Tua is fine regardless. Especially with Barkley, it just makes things a lot easier. So Barkley, Montgomery, Scatabo, Harvey, Giddens, Hunt. I'm not clicking Hunt. Personally, I know you obviously are, but I would be fine if you stopped at 5 here. I really would. Like David Montgomery, Steady Eddie, Barkley, obviously, we were pretty comfortable with what we're getting out of Saquon Barkley. And then Scatabo, Harvey, and Giddens, like 3 pretty quality rookies. I don't think you're forced to take 6 there at all, but obviously you're pairing Hunt with Mahomes, backstacking. I get it. Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Rashee Rice, Chris Godwin, Emeka Ibuka, Marvin Mims, Jack Best, Troy Franklin. There's backstack options for Nick, so you're not that brokenhearted realistically. You get 2 wide receivers for Denver. You got Rashee Rice. You could have brought in Noah Gray instead of Elijah Arroyo there. Dallas Goedert, Mike Gesicki, Elijah Arroyo. I like Mike Gesicki a lot. Got him at a value too, which is crazy because he's already ADP is a huge value personally. Jack Bech, one of my favorite rookies, one of my highest. I think he might be my highest owned player actually is Jack Bech. With Kenny Walker, they were tied. Emeka Ibuka is my wide receiver 1 as well, so I like that. This will definitely work. Strong everywhere, really. Strong everywhere. Yeah, it's a good looking squad. I mean, I guess you're fine to take Hunt regardless, because then where do you don't need another wide receiver, you don't need another tight end. So yeah, it's a free pick. So pair him up with Mahomes. I get that. Steph, let's take a look. Super shorty. Drake May, Bryce Young, Shooter Sanders. I think you had to do it. You had to take 3. So I'm okay with taking a rookie there. Obviously, you're banking on the first 2, so it is what it is. But you had to bring in a third, and it works. Kyron Williams, Chuba Hubbard, Caleb Johnson at a nice discount. Tajay Spears, Will Shipley, Sean Tucker. That'll work. Carolina. Yeah, should be okay. I mean, it's pretty contingent on Kyron and Chuba. That's obvious, but that's a pretty good bet to make. Got a little value on Chuba too, which is decent. I have a hard time clicking Kyron without Corum. I'm just concerned about his size and the amount of touches he's had so far in his career. It's definitely concerning with Kyron Williams. I like to bring him in with Blake Corum just so you have that, backup plan. But no, I get this. That'll work. Sean Tucker could have he could move into the running back 2 role for the Bucks realistically. So I don't mind that click. I haven't done it yet myself, but I do think it's not a bad click. I really don't mind it. Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Did you push Hurts? I guess you kind of just fell into it. Tried to push Hurts, I suppose, but betting on the offense isn't bad. Shipley as well. Nothing wrong with that. Devontae Smith, Juwan Jennings, Luther Burden. Got a nice discount on Burden. Pittman, Coker, Thielen. Got the Carolina. Don't mind that. Carolina, Rams. Just betting on some lineups or some offenses. The Rams and the Eagles. I don't mind that. Two teams that probably should have played in the NFC Championship last year, but we'll see what happens this year. Colson Loveland, Hunter Henry, Theo Johnson. That works just fine. Yeah, that'll be okay. Not bad. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Antwall, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud. I like that. Stop at 2. I dig it. 2-5-10-3, same as me. Devon Achane, James Cook, Aaron Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, Isaiah Pacheco. I like getting him at 110. I'm still clicking him there too. Like, I think that's where, he's perfectly fine to click. That's where most of my shares are of Pacheco are like over pick 100. My average ADP for Pacheco was 100 exactly, which, was way below this ADP, but he's been falling there. So all the shares that I have, the average, then it feels really nice. But that definitely works to stop at 5. I dig that. Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Debo, Hollywood Brown, Romeo Dobbs, couple concussion issues right here with Dobbs and Tillman. Injury concerns with Hollywood as well. Isaiah Bond, Savion Williams, Rondale Moore, and Justin Watson. Interesting couple clicks. Obviously, you're pairing them up with CJ Stroud. Not much for Buffalo except for James Cook. Don't necessarily hate that. Hawkinson, Strange, Sanders, that's really nice. This wide receiver room is thin to me. Oh, yeah, you took a huge hiatus from wide receivers. That'll kind of do it, I guess. I worry about Romeo Dobbs and Cedric Tillman as far as concussions are concerned. Tillman missed the last 5 games of last year. 5 games with a concussion last year. That's a big red flag to me. Romeo Dobbs has had a few in his career. I mean, you got a huge value on him, so it is what it is. I'm not clicking Rondale Moore personally. I'm not clicking Justin Watson either, but it's an interesting room. I mean, your quarterback room is strong, your running back room is strong, your tight end room is strong. I'm a little concerned about this wide receiver room, but you threw some volume at it, so hopefully you can kind of piece it together. Let's go with the Jamie squad in the 12 spot. Jared Goff, Michael Penix, Aaron Rodgers. Let's take a look at the chat first. Sorry, guys, I've been neglecting you. Team could have used Stafford. They had Saquon. Yeah. Yeah, my bad, man. My bad. Won't let me live it down. Where's Green Bean? Green Bean was sniping me in every draft last episode, so it happens. And you got lots of backstack options with Denver, so come on, man. Jared Goff, Penix, and Rodgers. I don't mind that. We'll see where Rodgers ends up. He could end up just retiring. We'll see. I just think, yeah, that's the issue right now with Pittsburgh is they're just millions and millions of dollars apart. I really think that's what it is as we sit right now. Najee, I love that pick. Kamara, Jalen Warren, Charbonnet, Algier, Jarquez. Any team that has Jarquez on it, I'm going to love. So I like this room a lot. That's a really nice running back room for me, especially when you don't click one until pick 60. You go back to back. I like that. Amon-Ra. You got Algier with Atlanta as well. Amon-Ra, Drake London, Devontae Adams, Jameson Williams. I'm not clicking Stephon Diggs, certainly not bringing him up the board, but it is what it is. If he goes to New England, okay. Josh Palmer, I like that click. De'Ami Brown, Kyle Williams. I like everything here except for Diggs. I really don't like that Diggs click whatsoever, but everything else is in really good shape. Double stacked, Detroit, double stacked, your Falcons, plus you got a running back. So I like that. Fryermuth with the Pittsburgh Rodgers. I like that. Higbee's a fine click. This works. It's a really nice squad. It's a really, really nice squad. I like that a lot. That definitely works for me. Let's pop into another one. We're jumping into another big board right now. We're in. waiting on 10, tons of room. The water's fine. Jump in. I hope so, for your sake. That would be wild if this ends up being true. But Houston team that signed Watson, I forget. Yeah, it was. It was Justin Watson. I don't know if he does have spike week potential, if I'm being honest. We'll see who they draft, if they draft anyone. Like Mechie's still there, obviously. Xavier Hutchinson's still there. I don't think Diggs is on the table. I think they've said that he's still like they're having conversations and whatnot. But I think if Diggs was going to come back to Houston, he would have already. That's my thoughts on it. So the fact that Diggs is not a Houston Texan right now tells me he's not going to be. But Mechie's still there, though he just has clearly shown that he's not that guy. He's not, someone you can really rely on. I'm not drafting any John Mechie personally. And Xavier Hutchinson, I don't know. He's shown flashes a little bit, but I still think he's shown that he can't be that reliable piece either. So I think they draft somebody. I do. What body type that is, we'll kind of see. Obviously, they have Nico Collins on the outside, Christian Kirk in the slot. So it's definitely another outside type of Z receiver. Could be like a Jalen Royals, maybe. Could make a lot of sense. We'll see. We'll see who that ends up being. But I think they draft somebody. Yeah, that doesn't move the needle for me personally. But if it does for you, don't let me talk you out of it. Go nuts. Don't let me talk you out of it. Diggs will probably rise a bit when he signs, maybe a fair amount of nut landing spot role. I'm not betting on a 31-year-old coming off of, the injury that he had. I'm not betting on that. I'm just not. So if Diggs ends up killing me, then it is what it is. He would have to finish as a top 10, top 15, wide receiver for that to really hurt at all. Maybe top 20, but I don't even think so. With where his ADP is, like, he would really have to finish. Like, I know he's going as wide receiver 58. I know that, but like, to really make it hurt, he would have to be at least, let's call it wide receiver 25 is really where he'd have to do to actually make it hurt. Because who's going around him? Christian Kirk is right there. Give me Christian Kirk over Diggs, no questions asked. Marvin Mims, give me Marvin Mims. Man, this is really annoying. Give me Marvin Mims over Diggs, honestly. Even if he lands in New England, I'm not too worried about it. I really don't think that Diggs is going to be the guy that ends up killing me. This keeps flipping around. That's really annoying. Give me Trey Harris over Diggs. Give me Quentin Johnston over Diggs. Probably take Xavier Legette over Diggs. I haven't clicked him once. 0% Diggs across the board. I'm just not betting on that. Like, bet on the talent all the time. Bet on the talent. But you can't tell me Diggs is going to come back and just be who he is and who he was after that at 31 years old. I just have a really hard time believing that personally. We got Candyman in the 5 spot drafts. Justin Jefferson, Gritty 21. Not hit him with the Gritty. Is that your alter ego? We'll see how he drafts. Huhames in the 7 spot. That looks like it. So if you're in the chat and you're drafting, let me know if you want your team looked at when we wrap it up. Let's go. What about the Raiders for Diggs? Doesn't move the needle for me at all. Diggs doesn't even take himself in best ball, no doubt. I would agree with that. Even he thinks it's a tough click. So yeah, I'm just not clicking Diggs. I'm just not. If I end up being wrong, I don't really see how I like to think about it that way. Like, I like to think about how can I be wrong? What's the outcome that I'm wrong on this? That's my Ashton Genty 0% thesis, and I'm going to be sticking to that. It's easy click Amon-Ra here. Easy. He's so disrespected. So disrespected. Give me Amon-Ra at 11 every single time. But like, how can I be wrong? And Diggs would have to finish like at least, at the very, very least, I'll even be generous and give him top 30. I don't think he does that. I think really to make it hurt, it would have to be top 25 to really make it hurt. I haven't paired Amon-Ra with McConkey at all with Ladd. I think it makes more sense just to take Drake London here. I want more. I'm falling to 17%. I want to be closer to 20 on Drake London. So let's bring up Drake London here. So how can I be wrong? That's my thesis. That's how I always like to look at it. Instead of like, oh, if this happens and that could happen and this might happen, like I try to avoid the ifs, coulds, buts, shit like that. That if there's too many of those, I like to avoid that player. Unless there's like a somewhat clear path. And the only way the Ashton Genty, the only way he kills me is if he finishes top 3. So if he finishes where these are the top 3 running backs, right? So if Ashton Genty finishes up here, then obviously he's a value back here, right? I'm willing to admit that if it happens. So he needs to finish as a top 3 running back for me to really hurt me. If he doesn't, I'm fine. It's fine. There's lots of outs for the Ashton Genty to not hurt me in any way, shape, or form, right? And with Diggs, obviously, there's tons of outs. You know, he's going, what is that? Sorry, what's his ADP again? 122. So 11th round pick. 10th, let's say 10th or 11th round pick, but really he's falling. So let's call him 11th round pick. Like, I just don't see many outs where he's going to really hurt me. It really doesn't make sense. I don't think it's a gap in my portfolio at all. Ridley would take himself, or he's going to hurt me because I have 0% Calvin Ridley too. Concerned about that QB situation, and he's getting a little bit older, but must be tough to go 0 Ashton. No, I'm super comfortable. Super comfortable having 0 Ashton Genty. Seems like the season will suck not sharing the success of an obvious generational talent. The dude is 5'8", 210. Let's just draft RJ Harvey in the first round. Like, I'm not going over this again. I'm not. Like, Ashton Genty, if he's a generational talent, the best running back you've ever seen, draft him. I'm not drafting him. I'm not going to let the group think and the consensus get to me or make me click his name. I'm not clicking him. I'm going to be 0% Ashton Genty in pre-draft best ball. So in the big board, I'm going to have 0%. If Ashton Genty gets drafted by the Chicago Bears and he's the only running back they draft, you bet your fucking ass I'm going to be drafting Ashton Genty. All right? Like, you bet your ass I'll have 20% Ashton Genty. Okay? If he goes to the Raiders, we'll see. I'll see where his price tag goes. I don't think he goes 6 overall to the Raiders. That's for damn sure. But if he goes 10th overall to the Chicago Bears and that's their only running back, you bet your ass I'll be taking Ashton Genty. Okay? So I really, really don't think that this is going to hurt me. I really don't. And if it does, hey, keep the receipts. Come tell me how much of an idiot I am in a month. But if he's not the guy that everyone says he is, I expect a sorry, Cody. It looks like you were right. Something about Ashton Doolin. I don't know what that's about. This bad. Genty at worst looking like Bijan rookie year. Did Bijan pay off his ADP as a rookie? Oh, wait. It's kind of like not drafting Barry Sanders. Oh, come on, man. Let's take it easy here. Let's take it easy. Makes it a lot easier when you play in the Mountain West. You know who owns the passing record in the NCAA? Who owns the passing record for yards and touchdowns? I'll wait. Nobel Bijan was going in the mid first round. Yeah. So similar to where Genty's going. Genty goes 9th overall all the time. What are we going to do here? Let's do no. Let's do Mike Evans. I need to make sure I get enough Mike Evans. Let's get Mike Evans. I need to make sure I get enough Mike Evans. I haven't done it in a long time. Let's make sure we get him. I know I miss out on Lamar, but that's okay. That's a good click by this guy. But let's just bring in Jane Daniels here. The correct click is probably Davante Adams is probably the correct click here, but I'm gonna go with Jane Daniels. Kellen Moore. What about Kellen Moore? No. Keep looking if you don't know. Keep looking. Genty in second isn't a bad gamble. I'm taking Derrick Henry before him. I'm taking Jonathan Taylor before him. I'm taking Devon Achane before him. $16, $17. Yeah, people get him at $16, $17. He just went and picked 16 here. I'll take him at pick 20. Yeah. Not over Derrick Henry. I will not take Ashton Genty over Derrick Henry, period. I'm not doing it. Maybe over Jonathan Taylor, maybe at pick 20, maybe. But that's never going to happen. So I'm still going to be 0% Ashton Genty. We'll see how it works out. If he finishes RB6, if Ashton Genty finishes RB6, don't come into the chat and tell me I'm an idiot, because that's not that makes me actually okay. That makes me fine, more than fine. If he finishes as RB5, I guess you can let me have it a little bit. 4, definitely. 3, absolutely. 1 or 2, but then we'll see. Like wherever he gets drafted, I could completely flip the take after the NFL draft. Like I said, if he gets drafted 10th overall by the Chicago Bears, I'm going to be drafting a shit ton of Ashton Genty, a shit ton in the first round. So, that's where it doesn't make sense in pre-draft. The dude's 5'8", 210 pounds, and he just had 400 touches tossed on his frame. That is not the type of body that you put 400 touches on. And look at what he did against real competition. So Penn State, he exceptionally struggled. Very, very much so. He did very well against Oregon, but if you're going to sit there and tell me Oregon is a fantastic defense, then we're going to be on different wavelengths. So, Ashton Genty against Penn State, that's a good defense, a very good defense, and he very much struggles. Sure, the rest of the offense, but that's part of the whole story with the Mountain West. He's playing at Boise State. You think so? The whole thing too is like, oh, running backs are back. Look at Bijan and Gibbs. When the generational talent that was Breece Hall at the time, I had Kenny Walker as my number 1 running back that year. They were both drafted in the second round, not even first round picks, both drafted in the second round, about 5 picks away from each other. And realistically, the jury's still out on who's better than the other on that conversation. Then the next year, it's like all running backs are back in the first round, Bijan and Gibbs. Where did Bijan go to college? Where did Gibbs go to college? What are their measurements? Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. We will see. Why are y'all trying to convince your competition to draft a player you like? Keep that price lower. Absolutely. Disagree with me and draft him 17th overall. If you're say if I'm pick 15 and you're pick 16 and Ashton Genty's there, you're getting Ashton Genty every time. So yeah, I agree with this. Yeah, we're gonna move on. That's exactly. Yeah, I know. I got sucked into it by Terrence. Terrence sucking me into it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. We'll see how this goes. Let's get back to the draft. Let's get back to doing fun things. We're at Jaden Daniels, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, and Mike Evans. Happy with the build so far. Definitely want to mix in some running backs, obviously. We'll see who's going to be there for me on the wraparound. Kenny Walker goes. Good click. Bring in Debo. Don't even think about pushing him. No point in doing that. Let's bring in Debo. Is Amon-Ra the click here? I don't think he is. Pretty NFC. So I guess Kamara probably would be the click here. Could do Sam Laporta. I'm going to pull up Najee. Get him as our RB1. Yeah, that feels a lot better to go down that road. Nah, that was a good click. Makes sense. Made sense at the end of it. Yeah, it was a free pick. So there you go. Free pick, free click. Take whoever you want. Take whoever you please. Yeah, and I think it worked. So appreciate you, Terrence. Appreciate you, man. thanks for the help. I appreciate that. Do we have anything crazy going on here? Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy at all. This is interesting. Bucky and Trey McBride. That's a little different. Who's in here? Candyman. Definitely going Minnesota. Don't mind that. Who Hames? I think you're upset with Steph in the last draft about getting AJ Brown. So there's your AJ Brown action. Devontae Smith, Quinshawn. I like that. Breece Hall and Quinshawn. I dig that. Christian McCaffrey, first round sighting. I'm not so sure I'm into that. What am I at for Christian McCaffrey? Where are you guys at with McCaffrey? Where are you guys at? I'm at 2%, 3% overall. Average click 16.5. I find it very difficult. To click Christian McCaffrey over Achane, Henry, and Taylor. Same with Genty. I find it very difficult to click McCaffrey over those three running backs specifically. But where are you guys at on that? Easy as 0% on the board. Yeah, it's tough to click them. 16.5. So I don't know who I paired him with. Probably someone else that was falling and maybe it was unique. That's probably why I did it. 0%, 5%. I have CMC with HN every time. 0% CMC. Huge injury concerns. Definitely has some injury concerns, that's for sure. It'd be interesting what the coach speak is like, because obviously we got burned by that last year, right? Shanahan was like, oh, he'll be playing. He'll be out there. We'll miss a week, whatever. Misses half the year and then comes back and gets hurt again. Yeah, there's a lot of tread off the tires with Christian McCaffrey. So pretty difficult click, especially in the first round. Saw someone take him first overall one time. That was definitely unique. I guess like that is his ceiling, in theory. Not even in, well, yeah, in theory, that's his ceiling, right? Of course he did. That's free money if you ask me. Funny enough, I'm in the biggest board, and a guy went at Genty CMC. That's a lot of risk in a $250 draft. If you ask me, that's a little tough to swallow. I think I have to go Caleb here. Yep, I think I got to go Caleb here. Lot of value, 10 picks at ADP value. I'll take that. Let's get over 5% Caleb. %1 Barkley last year probably didn't feel too good, I would think. I don't love what I'm about to do. No, let's not do it. Let's just take Pollard. I'm pretty high on Pollard this year. I was going to take Baker there and then bring in Kate Otten probably with my Mike Evans. But with Jaden, I don't think that's really necessary at all, especially when I'm, in theory, a little light at running back. And Caleb there's still like, yeah, it's great getting value, but obviously there's still quite a bit of risk there with him. I do like him as a prospect, so it's fine, but I'd feel better bringing in another running back, which is what we did. So that makes more sense to me. 1% Saquon last year. Yeah, I was in the 20s of both Barkley and Derrick Henry last year. I have a spritz of CMC, you could say. But yeah, I agree. The injury concerns are pretty hard to pass, are a pretty hard pass. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, I want more information, but obviously we're not going to get it. So it is what it is. That's just a tough pill to swallow. That's a tough click, man. I don't know. It's a lot of risk. Yeah. Late round two, I would do that. But in those sharper rooms, like bigger, those types of rooms, like he's probably falling down here, like really, I would feel, I don't know, like it's just tough to click him over any of these guys, including like Josh Jacobs, Bucky, even like it's been a lot of miles off the CMC tires, a lot of miles. It's a lot of touches. And if he's breaking down with like arthritic stuff, that's where it's really concerning to me. It's not like that shit gets better, It's not like you just get stronger. You know what I mean? It's a pretty hard sell on Christian McCaffrey these days. So really, I guess Isaac Garendo should be pushed up more than he is because he's pretty far down the board. Like if I think Jordan Mason should be, I mean, I think Jordan Mason should be maybe an 11th round click, but a 12th round click is where I'd feel more comfortable. Then Garendo, like 167, should be going ahead of probably like the Jalen Wrights, the certainly Corums of the world. I guess that's not crazy. Maybe 10 picks, 10 to 15 picks of ADP difference or value, I guess you could say, is what I kind of see with Garendo. But I haven't clicked him enough, so I need more Isaac Garendo in my life. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. Like, wait. I mean, you won't be able to get him then, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. It's totally fine in the like time box tournaments, like the Puppy One, the Poodles, the Chow Chows, things like that. Like you won't be able to take them, which again is fine. But in BBM, you can at the end of the draft season, right? Take CMC if he's looking fully healthy. But also again, like the coach speak, like he would have to be on the field practicing, not playing in preseason games because he wouldn't anyways. But he would have to be on the field practicing to feel good about taking Christian McCaffrey. Because even the coach speak we heard last year bit us all in the ass, right? So you can't rely on that at all. So CMC, my 25th ranked player behind McBride. Doubt I get a share. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I just have clicked him a couple times. I don't really know why, out of nostalgia, I suppose. I don't really know why I've clicked him a few times, twice, I think, literally. But I don't know. I've clicked him. I'll say that. I've clicked him a time or two. I would imagine Hunter's gone. Doesn't last till here anymore. Yep. Went a bunch early, which is fair. It's where he should be going, probably. I don't think I want to do the Goff thing. This is really annoying. I'm going to bring in Charbonnet here and then just see what falls to me. At wide receiver. Bateman's there. Let's go Bateman. That's kind of why it was either Mims, Pittman, or Bateman. So I'll get the running back that I like here, and then someone can make my decision for me. I do want enough Bateman and naked without Lamar. I want like 6 to 8%, basically right at the field. He caught 9 touchdowns last year. So give me some Bateman. Definitely not a guy I want to force in anywhere, but if it makes sense, and this is a build that it does make sense so far, now I can take a few rookies. I feel good about this wide receiver room. I feel good about this running back room. I'm happy with my quarterback room. So I'm pretty flexible. Pretty flexible, I think. Problem with Mason is Minnesota wide receivers don't block at all. Yeah, the offensive line is going to be in really good shape. Really good shape. And I'm not an Aaron Jones drafter. I'm 0% Aaron Jones too. So, and that's the other thing maybe people don't know about me as a drafter. I take pretty hard stands. I'm not afraid to take 0% of anybody. This is obviously back to the Ashton Genty a little bit, but Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Stephon Diggs, Jordan Addison so far, 0%. Yeah, a couple other guys. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but I'm not afraid to take a 0% stand on guys. Jerry Jeudy, 0%. Brandon Ayuk is maybe 1. Pickens, maybe 2 or 3. Calvin Ridley, 0%. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, Mason. I don't know. I like Mason. He's a good runner. He's a hard runner. He should have a lot of touchdown upside at that offense. The offensive line is in much better shape. I think they want to run the ball more, obviously, with JJ McCarthy. I'm not a JJ McCarthy guy or fan or anything at all. I don't think JJ McCarthy should have been a first-round pick last year. I don't think he's a first-round quarterback personally. I do like Kevin O'Connell, that's for sure. But and I think he probably will get there eventually. But I don't think JJ McCarthy as a rookie is really something that it's definitely not something I'm investing in heavily personally. It only feels kind of okay with him to have him with Purdy for the receiving upside and one or more of the 49er wide receivers. Talking about Ayuk, I'd imagine. Yeah. Like I only take Ayuk if he falls a lot, and I've only taken him with Purdy and like Kittle sort of thing. I disagree with this. I think he'll have a lot more potential with that offense. Outside zones, inside zones. It's kind of where Mason excels. I think he'll be just fine with Minnesota personally. CMC, Grando, and Mason were all banged up last year. I'd bet that all San Francisco drafts the third round. They'll definitely draft a running back. Kyle Shanahan loves to draft running backs, especially like late, or undrafted, like, Elijah Mitchell was a 6th round pick. Mason, I think, was a 6th or 7th round pick. Grando, I think, was a 3rd round pick. Trey Sermon was a 2nd round pick, I believe. Kyle Shanahan loves to draft running backs, so they will be drafting a running back 100%. Yeah, this is definitely something you should pay attention to. That's like, Amon-Ra is a phenomenal blocker. Allen Lazard is one of the best wide receiver run blockers in the NFL. Guy like Hines Ward, that's why he was so valuable to Pittsburgh for so many years. He was a phenomenal blocker as a wide receiver. No block, no rock, You don't block, you don't get the rock. That's very good. Who was the wide receiver? There was a rookie wide receiver, or a rookie prospect draft eligible this year that was coming out that was his motto. I think it was Pat Bryant, maybe. I think it was Pat Bryant that said, no block, no rock. And you love to hear that as a coach. You love to hear that. You love to hear that. So gets you on the field. It definitely gets you on the field. I don't think I can do anything other than what I'm going to do. I don't think I can do anything else. So that's just what I'm going to do. Let's go Penix. Pair him up with Drake London. Pretty easy click there. Yeah. Juwan Jennings literally got kicked out of a game last year for being too good of a blocker. Let's just go Kyle Pitts. I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to push him. I like this offense. I'm trying to be ahead of a lot of people. I'm trying to be overweight on the Atlanta stack, Penix, London, and Kyle Pitts. I really don't think Kyle Pitts is getting traded. He's most certainly not getting cut. It's not even possible contract-wise, but I don't think he's getting traded either. So I think it's a fine click, and I want that double stack as well. I can stop at 2 quarterbacks here. I think I'm probably going to. So yeah, I don't mind that strategy. Have to take him there if I want him. But yeah, literally, Juwan Jennings got kicked out of a game last year for being too good of a blocker. So Juwan Jennings, that's why he gets on the field. Mac Hollins, 100%. Like, there's a lot of wide receivers that you can look at that don't even try. Like Garrett Wilson was a horrible run blocker in college. I haven't paid attention to him since he got in the NFL, but I imagine it hasn't been exceptionally better. But Garrett Wilson was terrible pass blocker or run blocker in college. So yeah, it's definitely something worth looking at depending on the team and depending on the run scheme. Like if they're an outside zone running type of team, then you want at least like one good, like a team like the Jets, you throw Allen Lazard on the left side of the line, let's call it, on the outside, and you run outside zone to the left side, chances are you're going to have a hole out there as long as your offensive line is doing their job. So that's kind of, yeah, like it does. Again, the San Francisco, like Terrence said there, absolutely. Like Juwan Jennings is literally one of the best pass or run blocking wide receivers in the NFL. There's a bunch of good ones. So the ones that take pride in it and the ones that really excel at it, they get on the field. They absolutely get on the field. It's something I really look at when we're talking about running backs for sure. So a guy like LaQuint Allen, who is the number one pass blocking running back in the NFL draft this year, he's going to get on the field. He's going to have a role, most likely, because he can pass block. And that's what you need to do, especially as a rookie. If they don't need to teach that into you, if it comes relatively ready-made, then you're going to get on the field a little bit. That's another reason why I like Trevion Henderson so much, who I have ranked ahead of Ashton Genty. There you go. That's going to blow some minds. But he's my number one running back. Why? Because he's the best pass blocking running back at the top of the draft. So with the Amari and Hamptons, the Caleb Johnsons, Trev Henderson, Ashton Genty, Trevion Henderson is the number one pass blocking running back at the top of the running back kind of class. LaQuint Allen's number one overall over the whole class. Really, we should look at a lot of rookie wide receivers coming in too. Are they good pass blockers? Sorry. Are they good run blockers? It's going to get them on the field. So it's something worth looking at if we're drafting rookies that we're hoping get on the field. You know what I mean? It's something we should be looking at more. So that's definitely a good point. Definitely a good point. Good call out. Who the fuck takes JJ McCarthy naked ahead of ADP? I actually see that a lot. It's the rushing ability that people think exists, and I don't think it will this year. Coming off the completely destroying his knee, I do not think that he's going to be taken off running too much as a rookie, technically, as a rookie. Let's go Jaden Higgins here. Let's just make that easy. Get one of my favorite wide receivers coming in. Good blocker, as far as I can recall with my tape study on Higgins. And being an Iowa State wide receiver, I'd imagine he's a fairly good run blocker. I'm gonna bring in Ray Davis. I think there's a strong possibility that James Cook contract situation could bleed into the summer and potentially lead to some sitting out of camp, which is a massive concern for me. Anytime anybody, especially running back and wide receiver, sit out a little bit of training camp, that's a huge concern, huge red flag for me. So I think Davis deserves a bit of a bump personally. Where did JJ go? Right here. Badgeless zombie. Yeah. He's got Worthy with Mahomes. Okay. And Hollywood. Yeah. And then just takes a little rushing upside in theory, but he's not. Like, as a rookie, like this year, I really don't think JJ McCarthy is going to be taken off running too much. I really, really don't. I really, 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 really don't. Like, his knee is still not even healed right now. So I would be shocked. Look at especially quarterback, any quarterback that's ripped apart their knee, even or Achilles, right? But those are the two killers. But any quarterback, Joe Burrow fell way off on his rushing last, when he did it. I mean, these guys aren't super mobile anyways, but Aaron Rodgers was a little bit running around type of thing. He didn't do any of that after he came back from his Achilles. So he has started to, like, towards the end of last season, he has a little bit, and we'll see what he does this year if he even plays. But yeah, anytime a quarterback just rips apart their knee, even Kyler wasn't really doing too much the year after he came back. 200, right? Goes from 400, 240 and 3. Now he's back up to 505, right? Like, I just really do not think that JJ McCarthy is a good click at all. I really, really don't personally. If you're stacking him with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison or TJ Hawkinson. Like, I get that. I've even done that once or twice just because I took Jefferson and it fell into place and made sense. But I'm lower on Justin Jefferson this year than most. I'm super low on Jordan Addison personally. Lower on TJ Hawkinson than most. My concern is JJ McCarthy. And then if you're taking him for this rushing upside, I don't think it's going to exist personally. I really think he's going to have a hard time trusting his knee to just take off and put himself in jeopardy. But I get it if you're stacking. Like if you're stacking the Vikings, I'm not going to talk you out of that. That's for sure. That's for sure. Like I said, I've even done it myself a few times. I am going to have to add a 6 running back. That's okay. I'm done at quarterback. So it's going to be a 2-6-9-3. Yeah, 2-6-9-3. Don't need to force anything at wide receiver, but realistically, as you see the board, that's pretty much the only clicks right now, wide receiver or tight end. So that's probably what we'll do. I don't have to really force anything in here. So we'll kind of see what falls to us. But that's why I think people are taking JJ McCarthy naked, just because they think there's some rushing upside there. That's the thesis. That's the theory behind JJ McCarthy. So people just take that and run with it, because that's what the consensus is saying. That's what people are saying is JJ McCarthy can run the ball. So let's just buy into it, which I don't know. Personally, I'm not, but unless I'm stacking. Did Damian Martinez go already? Holy moly. Wow. 168. Interesting. Don't necessarily hate it. Bring in Ertz. Double stack Washington, double stack Atlanta. That feels good. Not very likely they play each other again in week 17, but maybe in week 15 would be nice. Now I'm wide open to do whatever I want. I probably would have taken Gesicki there. Probably would have taken Gesicki. I don't mind Ollie Gordon here, but I don't think that's the click. Let's just go Jalen Knoll again. Yeah, still free to do whatever I want, really. My stacks are good. Don't no bring back, so I don't have to worry too much about that. But taking some in division would probably help, but there's really nobody to take. In conference would help. I mean, rookies are good clicks for me when I have this start at wide receiver. Monroe, London, Evans, Samuel. Yeah, I'm probably going to take, I might take 2 more rookies really to finish up my wide receiver room. I would have taken Gesicki there though, but there's enough. There's enough at the end of the draft here. I could take somebody down here at tight end and make it work, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Justin Fields, 10th round. That's just where he lives now. It's fair. I can't really argue with that. I really can't. I have a decent bag. 15% in the big board, 18% overall, 146 is my average for Justin Fields. That feels pretty nice. I was taking him when he was going there almost every time. 13th round pick. Yeah, when he's a 13th round pick, 12th maybe, but 13th, 14th round pick, I was taking him a lot. So, because I have taken him as he's risen, so that kind of hurt my ADP, my average ADP a little bit on Justin Fields. But yeah, I was probably averaging 13th, 14th round. late 150s was probably the average before he moved up, and I have clicked him since, so that's probably hurt it a little bit, but that feels nice. That feels really nice to have 15%. It's about 14 drafts, probably something like that, of Justin Fields with an average of 146. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Conklin is a good click now, but they could draft someone. Yeah, they definitely could re-sign. He's signed with the Chargers. Who Hames? Conklin signed with the Chargers. I think it's less likely that they take a tight end, but it's certainly not off it's off the table that they take a tight end in the first 3 rounds. I think that's off the table for the Chargers now. But they could take one late, which I don't think will hurt either Will Disley or Conklin, but I don't know. They're going to probably run a lot of 12 anyways, like a lot of 12 personnel with both Disley and Conklin on the field. Conklin can block, Disley can block. They can both run routes. They can both catch the ball. So really, I think they just eat into each other a little bit. I'm probably only taking Conklin if I have Herbert. Is probably the only. I don't know if I've clicked him yet, Ty Conklin. I don't think I have. No, not yet. I will. I'm not opposed to it, but I probably, I'm not saying for sure, but I would probably only take him if I have Justin Herbert. Like, I think, like, give me Juwan Johnson in a vacuum over Conklin. I mean, I guess he's fine here. Schultz is probably still the click here. There's a lot of like concern with Schultz for me too, with Cade Stover there. Got a little bit more run. I will probably take Schultz right now. I think that makes the most sense for this build. And I don't have very much of him. But like after Schultz, yeah, you could take Conklin over Sanders, honestly. Fannin for sure. Higbee, Okonkwo, Gray. You could take him over any of these guys, really. So, yeah. I probably won't. Not in this. Definitely not with this draft. I'm not taking Conklin. But I don't think he's a bad click either. Let's just do Schultz. Just kind of guarantee myself some high floor with my tight end room. I've got a spike week option with Pitts, high floor with Ertz. I don't have a lot of Schultz. So let's just get a little more. And then I'm definitely done at tight end. I need one more running back somewhere, but it's not a huge rush. That's for sure. I will take Restrepo if he's here for sure every time. That's easy. Let's get Xavier Restrepo. I don't mind this team at all. Let's read it out. We got Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, Najee Harris, Caleb Johnson, Tony Pollard, Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Monroe St. Brown, Drake London, Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel, Rashad Bateman, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Knoll, Xavier Restrepo, Kyle Pitts, Zach Ertz, Dalton Schultz. Double stacked Atlanta, double stacked Washington feels good. That's a good looking squad, I think. It works. It'll definitely work. One more running back, one more wide receiver, and then we'll wrap this sucker up. Money was very low for Conklin. I don't think it mattered personally. Yeah, like that's why I'm still leery on clicking Conklin. There's lots of reasons why I'm leery about clicking Conklin. Still 0% right now. I mean, to be honest, like a lot of people like Colston Loveland. I do too. Don't get me wrong. He's my tight end too. I'm not going to shit on Colston Loveland over here. But obviously they like him too. Harbaugh, Michigan, Chargers. I get all that. They're not going to draft Colston Loveland in the first round. I really don't think. Possible, but less likely with Conklin coming in. Like someone who I think is a clone. I've said it a lot of times on the channel. Someone I think that's a clone to Colston Loveland is Terrence Ferguson. And he's a guy that you can get like probably 4th or 5th round, most likely. And I think he can do everything the same as Colston Loveland. Really. I really do. He can pretty much do everything just as good as Colston Loveland, in my opinion. So that could be someone they go with at a much cheaper price tag, draft capital wise. And then that would make a lot of sense. So we'll see. I'm just still a little leery about Conklin. I really am personally. Out on Jelani Woods. Yeah, me too. The guy didn't play at all last year. I like his athletic profile. I really do. Former quarterback as well. But yeah, he didn't play at all last year. And they're pretty much definitely going to draft a tight end early. The Colts, 1st or 2nd round, I would say. What if they just don't pay much to tight end again and get enough? Yeah, no doubt of Jelani Woods. What do you mean? Just don't pay much to tight end again? Like tight ends didn't get paid a ton a couple years ago. It was like $8 million. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. You got to be cheap somewhere, right? Paying a lot at quarterback. And for what the Chargers need you to do, like what Greg Roman's offense asks of its tight ends, Disley and Conklin can do. Anything that offense is going to ask them to do, they can do it. So I don't think it's really a point of need for the Chargers. Like if anything, it'd be like an Elijah Arroyo type to be like the Stone Smart type of, just seam runner, posts, seams, boom, run in the middle of the field and get open sort of thing. Maybe someone like that would make some sense. But I don't know. I find it hard to believe that they're going to take a tight end certainly early, and everything that they need everything that they need them to do, they can do. So we'll see. Yeah, Disley was paid low and their guy. Yeah, Johnny Cash about to be sad. Boy named Sue or what? Zeus still looking for a biggest board. I only have one more bullet, so I'm not doing it on stream. I'd like to get some. I keep telling you, I'd like to get some EV in my last draft, my last bullet of the biggest and the bigger, for that matter. Seems they want to build in trenches and premium positions, deep tight end class, obviously, but yeah, seems position you can get with meh talents. I agree with that. Again, with that offense, like with what that offense asks their tight ends to do, they don't need to spend a lot of money. I definitely would have clicked Marshawn Lloyd, so that breaks my precious little heart, but that's okay. I think there's just tons of value. So let's take my last guy, Jarquez here. Unless I'm falling on the Quint, which I'm not. 4% Taj Brooks, 3% Jaden Blue. Let's get some more Jarquez Hunter in my life. One of my favorite running backs. Some say I was first on him, which I would agree with. I guess Trey Tucker is the click here. Over Parker Washington. Yeah, let's diversify a little bit. Unless I want Kyle Williams. But let's just get Trey Tucker. Yeah, I don't disagree with this. 8-hole is Johnny. Oh, Johnny Cash is about to cry. About to be sad. What'd you do? Took Jameis on him? Oh, that's so mean. Who Hames? You're still upset that I sniped you in the last draft. You're so bitter that you just had to hurt someone else, hey? you just had to pass on the pain to somebody. Yeah, we agree with this. Tyler, you got to come on the stream soon, by the way. We'll do one maybe next week. Maybe next week. Been loading up on Hunter with you and JJ and on him. Yeah. Yeah, I've been loading up on Hunter a little bit as well. Oh, Jarquez. Yeah. I thought you were talking about Travis for a second there. But yeah, Jarquez is my guy, man. He's been my guy for this entire cycle. But Bayshal Tune was my guy too. Before everyone else was in on him. I wish I should have had 1,000,000% Bayshal Tune in the 19th, 20th round. He was my guy. I was talking about him in January. January 2nd was the first time I was tweeting about Bayshal Tune. That hurts. I didn't have more of them, but yeah. Trey been a very fun click. Definitely. 20th round Trey. Yeah. I don't mind that. Is that what you did? That is what you did. Fair enough. Poor Johnny Cash, BP, breaking his heart. First or second, I like it. I did too, I think. I took Tootin and let's go take a quick look at my very first. Let's take a look at my very first big board. Joe Burrow, Drake May, Bryce Young. I don't mind that. That'll work. Bijan, Chase Brown with Burrow. Big 22 Chase Brown, eh? I don't know what I was doing there. James Cook, I don't love that, especially 27. Yeesh. Got some value with Henderson, and then Bayshal makes it okay. Bayshal Tune, yeah, got my guy. Henderson and Tune were kind of my guys. Estime, I like. Jalen Waddle, Mecca Ibuka. I thought Ibuka might go to Cincinnati. That was my theory there. Pearsall, Liggett, Coker, and Liggett with Bryce Young. I like that. Butte and Douglas with May. Don't hate that. I thought Tyler Warren might go to Cincy. Okonkwo and Jeremy Ruckert. I think Jeremy Ruckert's an okay click, more now than it was then. So I'm not sure what I was doing there, but don't mind that. Maybe we'll take a look at a couple of these in a different episode soon. Coming soon to a YouTube near you. Let's do a quick refresh. And take a look at these squads. Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate that. Except for when I'm ranting about Ashton Genty. Was my fifth. I just looked at it on 128. First four had Tootin. Nice. You're in on Tootin as well then. We'll take a look at the squad first, and we'll take a look at everybody else. Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, both double stacked. I like that. Najee, Caleb, Johnson, Tony Pollard, Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Jarquez, Hunter. I like that. That'll work for me. Couple rookies, couple contingent upside type of backups. Well, Charbonnet and Davis. Pollard should be good. Najee should be good. We'll take it from there. Amon-Ra, Drake London, Mike Evans, Debo, Rashad Bateman, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Knowles, Xavier Streppel, Trey Tucker. That's a stud wide receiver room, if you ask me. I really like that wide receiver room. I think that really, really works a lot. Kyle Pitts, Zach Ertz, and Dalton Schultz. That'll work for me. High floor. Got an a ceiling option in there as well. High floor, just steady Eddie in the tight end room. I don't mind that. I think this team will definitely play. It works for me. Let's take a look at the Candyman in the 5 spot. We got Justin Herbert, Drake May, and Shadur Sanders. I think you have to add a third as well, so I don't mind you doing that. I'm not a Shadur guy whatsoever, as everyone knows, but that works. Got some value on those two as well somehow. But Kyron Williams, Chase Brown, Ramondre Stevenson, Travis Etienne, Bayshal Tootin, DJ Giddens. I like this room a lot. Two of my favorite clicks at rookie running back. Giddens, Tootin, obviously, we're just yammering on about. Chase, you got tons of value, so that's a great click. Kyron, yeah, that's a nice room. Paired up with, you got Ramondre paired with Drake May. Sure. 61 catches or something the other year, so I don't mind that. Justin Jefferson, Ladd McConkey, Jordan Addison, Jerry Jeudy, Matthew Golden, Alec Ayomanor, Torrey Horton, geez, and Jalen Polk sighting. You have Hunter, okay. Hunter Henry and Polk. with May. And then we've got Ladd. Maybe Mason Taylor goes to the Chargers, I guess, is what we're doing there. But this works. Kincaid, Hunter, Taylor, that works. I'm not clicking Judy or Addison personally. Obviously, you're trying to get the JJ McCarthy thing, so I can't blame what you're doing there. I don't like Judy at this price at all. I really, really don't. Don't mind the rookies. I mean, I'm not clicking Ellick. I'm not clicking Torrey Horton. Like Torrey Horton just ran 1,012 drag routes at Colorado State. It was just always running over the middle of the field. I guess if you need a big slot, he could work out, but I'm not a huge fan of what I saw with Torrey Horton personally. Jalen Polk, obvious, that's a roll of the dice there, pairing him up with Hunter. Don't hate the team. It could work. It could work. Who Hames? Brock Purdy, Justin Fields, Jameis Winston. I mean, again, if you're doing 3, but the concern is that he gets benched, obviously. That's always going to be the concern with Jameis. We talked about it earlier. I'm sure I don't need to tell you. Purdy, Fields is fine, and then Winston's just there. Probably won't be available for your lineup in week 17. Maybe you will be. You never know, right? So not the worst click. Not the worst. Brees Hall, Quinshon Judkins, Jordan Mason, Devin Neal, Brashard Smith, Kendry Miller, Keaton Mitchell. That'll work. Works for me. Holy 20 picks with Devin Neal. I don't know how his ADP is still so high. He's continuously falling into the 150s, 160s. So yeah, I don't mind that. Brashard Smith, I don't mind. Kendry is fine. I'm not clicking him a ton, but this will definitely play. Nico, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. A lot of people doing this. I've done it a few times even myself where we're just kind of betting on that passing offense. But I've also said that I don't love the passing offense with the Eagles, especially at cost. Like I don't mind Devonta Smith at cost, but I have a tough time with AJ Brown at cost. I really do. But I can't blame you here. DK, Brandon Ayuk, Travis Hunter, Stephon Diggs. 3773. I'd be probably bringing in another wide receiver here personally. Definitely. Gonna need Travis Hunter to go kind of ham. Hopefully this can carry you through to when Ayuk is in there again. Stephon Diggs, I mean, tons of value. Njoku Strange and Juwan Johnson. San Francisco Ayuk, okay. Interesting build. Definitely a little interesting. Need Hunter to go to New York with Jameis to kind of make that work, but it's not so bad. That looks like it. If you're in the chat and I didn't read your team, let me know. Some people don't like the rants, Kelly. Not everyone likes the rants, but I appreciate that. 7 receivers, 12 knees is my team name. Yeah. Yeah. Missing one, missing in action. We'll see. I mean, obviously, it's a little thin at wide receiver there, so we'll see how it works out. But let's get out of here. I know BBG, Best Ball Guy, is going live pretty quick if he's not live already. But we'll be back, if not tomorrow, for sure on Monday night. We'll definitely be going live again. Maybe tomorrow, but most likely, like I said, we'll be doing a Monday night stream. So if you're just popping in, you're new to the channel, whatever it is, hit that like button for me on the way out if you don't mind. If you're new, haven't subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out. Notification bell so you know when we're going live. 500 subscribers before the NFL draft. And we'll do a 12-hour live stream. It'll be a good time, friends and family. It'll be fun. Hopefully there's something to draft. But like we always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right. We'll see you on the next stream. Have yourselves a great weekend.